Have you ever wondered what it would be like to vanish into thin air, leaving no trace behind? Well, in 1587, an entire colony did just that. We're delving into the enigma of the Roanoke Colony, the first English settlement in the New World. This brave venture was led by a man named John White, an individual who dared to dream of a prosperous life across the Atlantic. The settlers of Roanoke, named after the island off the coast of present-day North Carolina, were filled with hope and ambition as they carved out their new lives in these foreign lands. Their relations with the local Native American tribes began on peaceful terms. Both parties curious about the other, they shared knowledge and resources, creating a harmonious coexistence. It seemed like the hopeful beginning of a new chapter in the annals of human history. But just as quickly as this hopeful beginning started, it ended in a shroud of mystery. In 1587, John White returned to England for supplies, leaving the colony behind. Little did he know it would be the last time he would see his fellow settlers. Before his departure, the Roanoke Colony had been a beacon of hope, a brave new world where the English could expand their horizons. But it wasn't long before this hopeful beginning started to turn grim. The settlers faced a multitude of challenges, each one more daunting than the last. Food shortages were a constant worry. The land was unfamiliar, and their attempts at farming often ended in failure. The colonists were not used to the harsh conditions of the New World and struggled to adjust. They were unprepared for the long, cold winters and the scorching summers. Every day was a battle for survival, a battle they were slowly losing. Tensions were also escalating with the native tribes surrounding the colony. The Englishmen were intruders in their land, and their presence did not sit well with the Native Americans. There were skirmishes, and the threat of a full-blown attack was always looming overhead. The settlers lived in constant fear, their dreams of a better life overshadowed by the harsh realities of their new home. In the midst of this turmoil, a ray of hope was born. John White's granddaughter, Virginia Dare, came into the world. She was the first English child born in the New World, a symbol of the colonists' determination to forge a new life in this strange land. Her birth was a small victory in their daily struggle for survival. But when the time came for White to return to England for supplies, the colony was far from the thriving settlement he had hoped it would be. He left behind a group of desperate people, clinging to their dreams of a better life. He left behind his family, his friends, and his newborn granddaughter. When White left, he could not have imagined the eerie silence that would greet him upon his return. 3 years later, when White finally returned, he found the colony deserted with no sign of struggle or battle. The stillness was eerie, the silence unbroken. All that remained was a ghost town, its once bustling life vanished without a trace. Theories abound regarding the disappearance of the Roanoke Colony, each one as fascinating as the next, and yet none providing a definite answer. One theory suggests that the colonists may have assimilated with nearby Native American tribes. It's possible, after all, they were far from home, in an unfamiliar land, and survival would have been their top priority. The Native Americans knew the land, knew its secrets, its dangers, and its bounty. Becoming part of their societies could have been a logical step towards survival. Another theory posits a Spanish attack. Spain at the time was a formidable naval power. The Spanish were known to fiercely guard their claimed territories, and the Roanoke Colony, situated on the edge of Spanish-claimed Florida, would have been seen as an intrusion, a threat perhaps. An attack would not have been out of the question. Yet another theory speculates that the colonists decided to move inland, away from the harsh coastal conditions. The interior of the continent was largely unexplored and could have promised better prospects for survival and growth. Amidst these speculations, one clue stands out: the word Croatoan carved into a post. The Croatoan were a Native American tribe living on what is now known as Hatteras Island. Was this a distress signal, a sign of peaceful assimilation, or perhaps a cryptic message meant to mislead? The truth remains elusive. In the end, all we have are theories, conjectures, and one cryptic word. The Roanoke Colony, once filled with hope and promise, is now a symbol of one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. To this day, the fate of the Roanoke Colony remains one of history's most intriguing unsolved mysteries, leaving us to wonder what really happened to the lost colony of Roanoke